everyone, I'm Liz Gillespie and welcome to another edition of BNEWS Sports Hub. This month we headed down to the Burlington Ice Palace to catch up with the boys ice hockey team. We will have a conversation with head coach Bob Conceison and captains Ryan O'Halloran, Spencer Reith and John Condon. We also have our player spotlight and our Red Devil review with Robert Paris. That's all right here, right now, on this month of BNEWS Sports Hub. To jumpstart our discussion, we will give you a little refresher. Here's BNEWS Sports reporter Robert Paris with our Red Devil review.
Hey everyone, I'm Robert Paris for your Red Devil review. The BHS winter sports season has ended, so we're going to take a look back on the accomplishments the teams have made and how they did throughout their seasons. Let's start off with the boys and girls ice hockey teams. Boys ice hockey went 14-4-4 in the regular season. That didn't stop them from getting an opportunity to play in the Super 8 tournament against the Hingham Harbormen. The Devils advanced to the next round after a 3-2 win over the Harbormen. From there, they went on to play the Boston College High Eagles, where they lost 3-0. They ended up in a consolation game against the Catholic Memorial Knights, where their season came to a halt after a 2-1 loss. Senior Ryan O'Halloran made a big accomplishments this year as he got his 100th career goal during the regular season. Congrats to Ryan. As for the girls, the team had a rocky start, but with a few adjustments, they were back on track and secured a playoff spot after finishing 10-8-2 under new head coach Rick Sheehan. The team ended up in the preliminary round of the MIAA playoffs and were ranked number 18 in the bracket. First, they faced off against the Cohasset Hanover Skippers for the wildcard seat, where they won in overtime 5-4. Then the Lady Devils went to the Canton Ice House for round 1 against the Norwell Clippers, where the team put up a hard fight, but in the end, 7-1 loss ended the season. While the boys' swim team ended the regular season with a 2-5 record, a number of athletes qualified for the sectionals and states for their performance in the 200-yard freestyle relay and headed to MIT for the North Sectionals. Burlington came in 14th place and finished at a time of 1 minute and 36 seconds. The Red Devils finished the year at the state tournament at Boston University. Burlington finished in 39th place and finished with a time of 25.90. Girls track finished the season at 2-3, and a number of athletes qualified for a spot in the states in all-state tournaments. A school record was broken during the regular season by freshman Grace Hannafin, sophomores Liz Brebe, Paige Deravue, and junior Winnie Sakaya for the performance in the 4x200 meter relay. The previous holders are the current coaches on the team, head coach Jessica McCarthy and athletic director Kirsten Marlino. Well done, Lady Devils. Boys track finished the year at 3-1-1 and won the state relay championship for the 4th consecutive year. Senior Keenan Wilson placed 2nd at the All-State Championship and 7th at the New England Championship in the high jump. School records were broken, including the shuttle hurdle team consisted of Keenan Wilson, Ryan Devereaux, Joe Mitchell, and Thomas McKinich. Alex Keene for the pole vault, Wilson again for the triple jump, and Sean Thurier in the 400-meter relay. The boys and girls basketball seasons both saw success in playoff action. Girls finished the year at 15-5 and were ranked 5th seed during the MIAA playoffs. This was the program's best record since the 2001-2002 seasons. Lady Devils headed to the first round and lost in overtime in favor of the Dracut Middies. Boys finished 16-4 and beat the Woburn Tanners and Winchester Sachems in the first round and quarterfinals. Then came the semifinals at Tewksbury Memorial High School against the Beverly Panthers. The Devils had a tough battle against Beverly, but in the end they lost 67-60 against the Panthers in overtime. There were a number of athletes that were named the Middlesex League Basketball All-Stars for both teams, including sophomore Aiden Olivier, seniors Kyle Inglis, Mike Melanson, junior Marina Callahan, senior Kelly Joyce, and freshman Olivia Pena. Congrats to all the athletes on both of the teams. Lastly, Red Devil Wrestling finished the season at 6-8. Burlington went to the Division II State Wrestling Championship, where junior Cam Soda won D2 state champ. His brother Zach came in second place. From there, the Sodas headed to the MIAA state meet and finished at the top seed. The Sodas advanced to the MIAA All-State Championship, where Zach won the meet in overtime 3-1, making him the 2020 MIAA All-State champ. Cam was runner-up. Now the biggest meet of them all, the New England Championship. It was a tough battle for both twins, but in the end, the outcome couldn't be better. Cam and Zach became 2020 New England champions. The Sodas are the 4th and 5th New England champ for Red Devil Wrestling, joining BHS graduates Ricky Covino, class of 1983, Jeremy Royds, class of 1995, and Matt Sherman, class of 2010. There are also the 3rd pair of twins to win New England titles in the same year, joining 2011 graduates Kyle Visconti of Malden Catholic and Nick Lawrence of Timberland High School in New Hampshire. Sodas are the only ones to do it before their senior year. Congrats to Cam and Zach on a fantastic accomplishment. And that is all for your Red Devil Review. I'm Robert Paris. Back to you, Liz.
Thank you, Robert. Now let's talk about hockey. I'm here with Coach Conceison. Hi, how are
Liz.
you?
I'm very good. How are you, Liz?
I'm good. So, to start, what got you involved in hockey and how long have you been involved?
It's interesting. I was a basketball player up until the 8th grade, and then I decided that I wanted to try something different. My father was a basketball coach, and he said, "You want to play hockey?" I said, "Yeah." So I started playing in the 8th grade. I played in high school. Actually had a pretty good high school career, and then and ended up playing in college at Boston College. And as soon as I got to BC, I knew I wanted to coach. And I started coaching then, and I've been coaching ever since.
Cool. So what have you been doing outside of hockey?
Well, I was a teacher at Burlington High School, actually at the middle school in Burlington for 38 years. Right now, I teach part-time at Merrimack College. I also coach the golf team in the fall, so I'm coaching. I'm retired, but I'm not retired.
So what got you involved? What got you involved in coaching in general?
The fact that I was playing, that I played and I loved the game. I had a real passion for the game. But even more important, when I was started teaching, I felt like coaching was a good extension of my teaching because it's the same thing. You're actually teaching on the ice, just in a different venue than the classroom. Our locker room is kind of our classroom down the Ice Palace. So that's the way we approach it as a coaching staff. So it was a natural progression to coach as well as teach for me.
It's this year that you worked with your son?
Bobby is an assistant coach.
Awesome. So what's it like working with them?
It's kind of interesting because I had the pleasure and the opportunity to coach both my sons in ice hockey. Bobby was a goalie, Paul was a defenseman. Bobby went back into teaching himself. He's a middle school counselor right now, and he really wants to coach. And for the last 8 years, I believe, he's been with us as an assistant coach. And it's a great experience. We share a lot. He's a younger guy who has a lot more expertise in some areas than I do, and he's learning from me, and I'm learning from him. It's just a great experience.
Awesome. So what are practices like?
Well, our practices are pretty intense. Hockey practices tend to be shorter than a lot of other practices. They're kind of limited by ice time. Okay. So you have to really be well planned. So basically we post the practice plan. The kids read it before they get on the ice and they know what drills they have to do. Depends on the day. We play on Wednesdays and Saturdays typically. So Monday is usually a heavy conditioning day. Tuesday is a pregame where we might have to work on some things, some systems, getting power play things, getting ready for Wednesday. Yeah. And that's how the typical week goes. we plan the practices out, and sometimes we add some new drills, but there's a lot of drills we do every day just so the kids get used to the things that we're doing.
Awesome. Do you ever have to share ice time with the girls, or are you guys completely separate?
We do share. We take that 2 hours and we split it up. This year it worked out pretty well with Mr. Sheehan. The girls skated the late time on Monday and Friday. We skated the early time on Monday and Friday. And then on Tuesdays, Thursdays, we were late and the girls were early. So we split it up pretty evenly, and we have a good relationship between the two programs.
Awesome. So what are some of the strategies that you guys work on in practices?
Well, it really all depends on the team in the year. This year, we knew we would struggle to score. We had some very skilled players, but we didn't have depth of scoring, so we spent a lot of time working on offensive things. We had a very strong defense and a very strong goaltending crew, but particularly with Joe Tribuco as the starter, but the goaltending was really, really strong. So we spent a lot of time on offensive set things, and we actually do a lot of diversifying in practice where the D will work with the defense coach, and the forwards will work with the offensive coaches and the goalies. So I think the main emphasis this year was on developing some goal scoring within the kids who didn't play much last year, and we're stepping up into bigger roles this year.
Awesome. So what kind of strength training do you promote? Well,
during the season, we stretch before practices and before games. Some of the kids work on their own. In the off season, they're committed to a very, very, very strong strength and conditioning. Hockey is a little bit different. We try to emphasize explosiveness, speed and quickness rather than bulk. Mm-hmm. You see most hockey players, you don't see guys that look like football players. They look a little different. They're pretty lean, with a strong core for their skating, so that we try to emphasize those things in their development as players.
So what are some of the accomplishments that you've seen over the years?
Well, we've had a really, really strong program in the last 16 years. But before that, Burlington's a very, very traditionally a strong hockey program. It's a hockey town. The people in hockey really support the hockey program. Fortunate enough to win a couple of state championships, 2012, 2013, back-to-back. But the last 16 years have been very, very successful. I mean, like this year, we played ourselves into the Super 8 tournament. I think we've been in it 5 or 6 times in the last 15 years, which is a big accomplishment for a public school, because you're playing against a lot of Catholic schools that come from 10, 12, 15 different towns. So they're kind of all-star teams. So to play with that level of competition is tough. But we're very proud of the fact that as a public high school, we've been so successful recently.
Now, let's take a look at this month's Player Spotlight with Captain Ryan O'Halloran, who will be on a little later.
Hi, this is Ryan O'Halloran for BNEWS Sports Hub Player Spotlight. When I started out, both my brothers played first, and then I started skating around 5, and then played mites, and then just moved up after that to older. My 100 point, it was pretty cool. I was pretty fortunate for all 4 years to be playing with good guys to help me out and get that. I mean, you're just trying to, lead by example and show the guys, what you've learned in the past 3 years, and just kind of bring that down to them. I love Coach. I've known him a while. He coached both my brothers, and just been a great mentor for me and a great coach for me for 4 years. Just coming to the rink every day. I love, going to school all day with all the guys, and then coming here after school and playing. Just love high school hockey and playing for my town. It's unbelievable. I'm probably going to miss just being able to play for my town and representing where I come from, representing my school. Something that it doesn't come every day. If you're playing juniors or you're playing in college, it's not representing where you're from. It's more of like the school and stuff like that. So that unique opportunity I'm probably going to miss.
It's a family legacy in Burlington with the 3 O'Hallorans. Ryan's the last of the 3, unfortunately, and he's had a great career. Just broke the 100-point mark. He's been a 4-year player for us and a captain. He's one of the best players in our league, that's for sure. Made Globe and Herald All-Scholastic as a junior. He's just a very, very talented kid. And the legacy is leadership and loyalty to our program and commitment to to our program as well. I was excited for him. We haven't had too many 100-point scorers in the last, since I've been coaching, maybe the last 10 or 15 years. We've had a couple. But it's a testament to him because we don't play a lot of games where he gets points against weak teams. They're all important points and important goals. So it's 100 solid points for him, and it's a great accomplishment. I think I'm going to miss mostly his family, and Ryan as being all three guys, Shane, Patrick, and Ryan, totally different kids, different types of leaders, but all have the same core values in the commitment to excellence, and I'm going to miss that with him most of all.
Talk a little bit about Ryan's 100th goal.
Ryan and all the O'Hallorans, the three of them, this is the end of an era for me coaching the O'Halloran family, and Ryan is just a great leader and a very, very good hockey player. Getting 100 points is a great accomplishment. Maybe 25 years ago it wasn't. Now it is because all the teams are so competitive. We don't have any 8-0 games or 8-1 games, so all his points are very meaningful in most games in the 4 years that he's played. So I think it's a really big accomplishment for Ryan to break the 100-point mark.
Awesome. All right, I'm just going to pause so that we can, in post, cut to the player spotlight. So talk a little bit about the player spotlight.
The player spotlight on Ryan?
Yeah.
So Ryan is our leader, our best offensive player. Actually, we're getting him to play the full game more this year, and he's done a great job with it. He may not have the points that he had last year because he had a couple of really good goal scorers with him last year, but he's become more of a team player and more of a leader this year as a player. He's wonderful to coach. He always has ideas about hockey, but he approaches it the right way with the coaches. He always has different viewpoints and different things that he wants to bring to our practices and our games. And he's someone that we're really going to miss as coaches because he's a pleasure to coach. Awesome.
So what are your tryouts like?
Well, the tryouts usually consist of about between 60 and 70 student athletes trying out. We take our tryouts very, very seriously. We try to give everybody four days. And fortunately, we have enough room at the JV level to let every freshman, sophomore, and junior play if they want to. And then seniors, we have to make some decisions whether we keep them or we don't keep them. And that's always the hardest part for me on the fourth day. This year it got a little bit messed up. We missed a couple of tryouts because of the snow. The only snow we had really kind of messed us up the first day. We had to do a double session in the morning. But the kids the thing that I love about the hockey players is that they'll always come and try out no matter what. They don't drop out. Okay, they want to try out, and we sit down and talk to everybody individually. That's the way we do it. Tryouts are tough for us. The first week is always the toughest for us. I mean, we don't post lists. We talk to them individually about their skills and where we see them, and sometimes we have to make those tough decisions, and they are really tough.
What's kind of like the range of skills do you get? Do you get like kids that are learning to skate or?
No, we basically have kids that have played hockey. We've had a couple of kids that maybe have only played a couple of years, and we also have kids that don't play much in the off season. One of our better players last year was a really lacrosse player. Didn't play much hockey other than high school season. So it does happen that way. But hockey is a very, very difficult sport to just start and make it because of the skating. The skating skills have to be well established with these, at a younger age. So we have our skill level runs the gamut from JV players who are probably going to be JV players for 3 years to JV players who maybe might play varsity for 2 years as a junior and a senior, and then some sophomores make it as a sophomore. Ryan's an exception. He was a freshman who right away was an impact player. As a freshman he was on our top six forwards. So that doesn't happen very often, but in our sport. But Ryan is one exception. If you're a freshman and you're playing varsity, you're usually pretty good. Yeah. But Ryan was an impact freshman from the very impact player from the beginning.
Awesome. Do you guys have a freshman JV and varsity teams, or
We
just
have-
the JV and varsity?
We have 2 teams, okay? We have what's called a hybrid JV team. So everybody plays and practices together. I think this year there were 30 skaters on that team. So then we play a lot of games where we divide the team up. So nobody is really sitting. We might bring 12 guys to one game, 18 guys to another game, and the JV coaches do a great job of ensuring that everybody gets I think the minimum was 16 games, and some kids get over 20 as far as the games go. But they practice together, which gives us a good number of kids on the ice at a time with a couple of coaches and usually a volunteer or two to help out with the practices. So we could have 2 teams, but the hybrid model works better because it's competitively. It puts some of the better players playing more, and it also has some of the players who need development playing in certain games. So it's a good model.
Awesome. So what are some of your games like?
Well, most of the games are pretty intense. This year we played a lot of low-scoring games. When we won 10 straight games after our first loss to Woburn, most of the games were close, where one team or the other pulled the goalie. So I would say intensity is the way to describe it. I think one of the things that is a big challenge for a coach is when you play 22 games, is getting the kids up to play, ready to play for every game. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, I mean, they have no problems getting up for Woburn and Reading, and when we played Hingham, we beat them twice. But sometimes for the teams that we are better than, it's harder to get kids ready for those games. But those are the trickiest ones because all those teams have enough to beat you, and if they're motivated, they're going to beat you or tie you. So I think the challenge for a coach is to get them ready to play in all those games and not play down to an opponent, but keep their level up.
Are there any games that you focus on more, or any rivalries or anything like that?
I think what happens is we play that as the season comes. Of course, in the Middlesex League, we play everybody in the Freedom Division, which is our division, twice, and everybody in the Liberty Division, which is the bigger schools, once. Okay, so the Freedom Division games are more important because they're essentially 4-point games. If we get 2 points, the other team doesn't get those 2 points. So we focus on those games when they come around. But I think the rivalry games, I mean, Arlington, Reading, Woburn, Winchester, there's so many rivals. Melrose now has become a big rival of us. So the rivalry games are really, really important in our league.
So how do you decide your captains?
The kids elect their captains. The kids elect the captains. So I just had our exit interviews in the last 2 days where we talk about all the returning players, and when they vote for a captain or 2 captains, they also talk to the coaching staff about the qualities that person has. So we take those votes and the notes that we have on those guys, and we sit on it till probably June. Usually, we like to have captains in place for the summer and the fall. So we may name some captains for the next year in June, and then maybe if we're going to have assistant captains, we may wait to name assistant captains till the fall. But basically, the kids elect the captain.
Awesome. What do you expect from those captains?
Leadership. I expect a relationship between me and the team. I also expect the captains to be good role models to everybody else on the team. I also expect them to take the newer players, the first-year players, and show a special interest in those first-year players. I think that's really important.
So I talked to the girls' team, and they had a lot of 8th graders on their team. Do you guys have 8th graders in your team, or is it just high schoolers?
No. I think they have the 8th graders because they don't have enough to have a varsity team with high school kids. We have plenty to have a team of varsity kids. So no, we do get a look at the middle school kids because my son Bobby runs a middle school clinic for the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders 3 times a year on our ice time. So we get to talk to the 8th graders, have them into our locker room. But as far as there aren't too many teams that have in boys hockey that have 8th graders playing. Some teams do because they have the same principal. So therefore, an 8th grader would be eligible if they're in most of those schools are private schools or Catholic schools. But in the public schools, there aren't too many 8th graders who are playing when you have 30, 40, 50, 60 kids wanting to play hockey at the high school level. that's how that goes.
Yeah. So how many seniors is on your team?
We had 12 seniors this year, which is a lot, including the two managers. And we had two seniors make the team this year for the first time. So we're losing a lot. We're losing a lot. Yeah.
That sounds like that's going to impact the team heavily.
It is. We got to rebuild, but you know what? We're kind of used to that. We're a team right now that's built on juniors and seniors moving up the ranks in having success. So we're looking forward to success next year, even though we have a lot of work to do in terms of rebuilding.
Awesome. Is there anything I haven't asked about that you want to share, or you covered it?
No, I think you covered just about everything.
Awesome. Thank you. And we'll be right back with the captains.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
And now we are back with the captains. Welcome. Hello.
How's it going?
How are you?
So, what got you guys involved in hockey?
Well, for me, I tried pretty much every sport in the world before hockey and then could not find the one that I loved. And then the second I touched the ice and was just gliding around, I kind of fell in love with it. So,
I think just for me, my friend group, the kids I was hanging out with in school, and then we had season tickets to the Bruins when I was like 7, so I was going to that, and that just got me interested.
Yeah, I just followed my brother's path. They both played before me. Both my uncles played, so kind of a hockey family to start. So we just kind of followed into that.
How long have you guys been playing for?
at least 12 years, maybe a little more. Yeah, probably 12 years.
Since I was 7.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7. I don't even know, around there. I don't know when you play hockey or learn to skate. Either one.
Yeah, that's true.
I learned to skate when I was 7.
Nice. So, what's your favorite part of playing hockey?
Oh man, it's gotta be the crowds at the home games. That's really made it all worth it. All the years of playing in the youth programs, no atmosphere. It's all to play in those big games for your home crowd. That's what does it for me.
I think, yeah, like Spence said, the crowds, seeing the boys every day, the rivalries that you built over the few seasons that you played in high school, and just everyone supporting you, all the kids at school going there, all the parents, and trying to get into the playoffs.
For me, as for hockey in general, I'd say scoring goals. Just because I've scored touchdowns or gotten hits in baseball, but there's still nothing like scoring a goal. No matter what level you play at, it's just the craziest feeling.
Awesome. So what kind of rivalries do you guys have?
I don't even want to talk about it.
We have a Woburn rivalry in every sport, no matter what.
Yeah.
We've built a rivalry with Reading over the years because they're just a good team. We're a good team, so no matter what, we're gonna compete.
Yeah.
Who else would you
I think
say?
Hingham a little bit too, more recently.
Hingham, yeah. I mean, when we first started playing them, we weren't really able to compete with them, but now this year was a good year for us to go out there and get a couple wins on them.
Yeah.
I think, teams around us, Stoneham, Billerica, small rivalries, and then you'll remember certain kids that did something in games, so you'll have a one-on-one rivalry like that.
Oh, yeah.
So do you guys play any other sports?
I used to play golf, but kind of dropped that so I could focus on hockey.
I played golf this year for the first time with Coach C too. That was a blast. And I played baseball a couple seasons. I'm trying to play this year, but shoulder injury I got at the end of hockey season could be stopping me from that.
I played football and baseball along with hockey for a couple years. So.
Nice. Have any of those sports helped you with hockey, or have hockey helped you with any of those sports?
I think for me, hockey really helped me with, well, I mean, it can't really help a lot with golf, but, hockey players are usually kind of natural golfers, and got my putting, putting grip from hockey. I hold the putter like that, even though no one else in the world does that.
Yeah, I think baseball too. It's kind of like the same thing, a team, you're traveling, you're with the same kids every day, practice and games, so I think going from that to hockey is kind of similar.
It's just good to get away from hockey too. Sometimes you don't want to get burnt down and just play it all the time, and you'll end up you'll be out hating it. So that's why it's good to just play. Like USA Hockey always says, play more than one sport. And I know some kids that had bought into hockey and went in there like all 3 seasons end up quitting because they just they play too much. So it's brutal.
So do you guys play all year round, or do you guys just take breaks?
Yeah. Before this, I played all year round, but it's weird to be done with it now. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I play all year round too, just with other activities. I play hockey in the spring, but while playing baseball, never the summers too. It's nothing crazy, just a couple times a week, and then also you're enjoying your summer too.
Yeah, in the summer, I'll usually play a couple tournaments, nothing crazy, no travel teams like that. And then just in the fall, I'll play for a club team.
Nice.
Other than that, that's pretty much it in high school.
Cool. So what positions do you guys play?
All defense, all the time.
I love playing center, but I'll play wing, left wing, or right wing, wherever they throw me in. I'm a big offense guy.
Yeah, I'm a forward. That's wherever they need me, I'll go.
Awesome. So how much gear do you guys need for playing?
Man, way too much. I know my parents feel the same way.
It's expensive too.
Yeah, it's very expensive. Yeah, that's good.
So what are your practices like?
Practices are usually pretty intense, but they're a lot of fun because we're just out there with all our boys, just scrimmaging. Everyone goes a little hard sometimes. Sometimes you build a rivalry with your teammates, so they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, we kind of had 2 different practices throughout the whole year. One, we'd have conditioning. We'd spread out and do a bunch of one-on-one drills, 2-on-1s, and then before game days we'd do power play, special teams, and we kind of figure out what the game plan was. So.
Yeah, they're just always fun. Some sports you'll go out and you're dreading practice, but most of us we actually just love coming to the rink and going to practice.
Awesome. So what are some of your warm-ups before games?
Warm-ups are always crazy. We got Costa making us a great warm-up mix.
I helped on that.
You did help on that? Yeah. Warm-ups are awesome.
Just off-ice ones too.
Yeah, everyone had different warm-up routines, whether it was stick handling, stretching, doing a little jog, but everyone had their pregame stuff to get them ready.
Awesome. So what are some of your games like?
Oh man, games. There was a pretty big range of games this year. We had games, Newburyport, where it didn't even feel like a high school game, and then we had games like Super 8 playing game versus Hingham, where it felt like the whole town of Burlington was there. So it's a wide range of atmospheres.
Yeah, our games are pretty unique too, because our rink is kind of small, so if you get a lot of people there, it looks a lot more packed than it is, so it creates a great atmosphere for us. We have good fans. We have a lot of people that come out to every single game, mostly home games, and so we're pretty fortunate to have that.
Yeah. Our games are pretty fun. We had a nice schedule this year with teams that we had rivalries with, some teams that some of us hadn't played at all, and it just worked out for the teams that we played.
Cool. So what are some of the accomplishments the team made this year?
Middlesex League. We won the Middlesex League. We beat Melrose by 3 points in
nice.
that. We made it to the Super 8, 7th seed.
Always nice.
We won our own tournament, which is the Cahoon tournament. We won that. We went on a 10-game winning streak, which was pretty cool. We also beat Hingham twice, which we started playing them our freshman year. We lost them our freshman year by pretty bad. Sophomore year we lost to them. Junior year we lost to them, and then this year we were able to beat them twice, which not a lot of teams. They're probably the best public school team in the state, and so to beat them twice in 1 year was a pretty solid accomplishment for us.
Yeah, we had a couple kids get their first points, their first goals. Kids get their first shifts, so there was a lot of accomplishments this year.
Awesome. So what was it like to get your 100th goal?
It was cool. I was fortunate to play with great line mates every single year. I don't get 100 points if I don't have guys helping me out. So I was just lucky to play with Drew Mestorf my freshman year, Frankie Minato my sophomore year. Connor Quinlan is best goal scorer that I've seen on this team in 5 years. So he helped me out a lot. This year, Costa was huge. Just guys always helping out. It was cool.
Awesome. So what are some of your responsibilities as captains?
We got to make sure the attitude in the locker room is always good. Sometimes we're down after a period, they'll get in their own head. So we just got to make sure we keep a positive atmosphere. But you know, we can't be too serious all the time. So we gotta keep it light, but keep it focused in the locker room.
Yeah, like Spence said, we got to show them like the equal balance between having fun and being serious for games and practices. And certain days we'd do curfew calls, so we'd call a certain amount of kids on the team, all of us, and just make sure no one's doing anything stupid off the ice.
Just being a role model for them, pretty much, and just have them look up to you and just kind of follow what you do, and hopefully what you're doing is good, and, and everybody's doing a good job.
Yeah. So how do you motivate them?
Sometimes you gotta kind of like lead by example to motivate you. So if they see you working really hard in practice, then they're gonna be like, oh, I wanna work hard. I wanna try to beat them. Like especially conditioning in practice, like we'd always try to go as hard as we can, and then the younger guys usually follow suit.
So what do you miss most about the team?
I just miss being in the locker room every day. For sure. You know, it's just like, it's so weird. Like you got like a regular schedule every day. You go to school, you go to practice, you go home or whatever. And like now we just like, you start it up again in your spring sport, but there's just nothing like the winter season, and that's what you'll miss probably the most.
Yeah, I'll miss the team dinners, hanging out with everyone.
The team dinners is huge.
The games, I'll miss the games especially, and yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else I haven't asked about that you want to talk about, or have I covered it?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Find out how to use an awkward silence to help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
And that's all for this month of BNEWS Sports Hub. I would like to thank my guests Bob Conceison, Ryan O'Halloran, John Condon, and Spencer Reith. I'd also like to thank you for watching. I have been Liz Gillespie, and we will see you next time on BNEWS Sports Hub.